Hello, I am hoping you are having the very best of days. And I wanted to do a video on healing. It seems to be a subject matter that is kind of misconstrued. And I just wanted to do a video on what are the different types of healing and why do I say that true healing is not for the faint of heart? So let me dive in here. There are aspects of our psyche that require a tremendous amount of work. And I'm talking about deep diving into your psyche, into your subconscious to actually heal yourself from multiple things that may be hindering you from moving forward. So let's just look at traumas, for example. When you go through a trauma is like a glass ball. So when you experience a trauma, that glass ball basically drops on the floor and it will either shatter into a couple pieces or it can shatter into hundreds of pieces. This is why people can go through the exact same trauma. Like you can have siblings, for example, that go through the exact same situation, and one sibling appears to be completely unaffected by it, whereas the other sibling is completely like stuck in the cycle of reliving, and it has, like, as far as they are concerned, ruined their entire life. It's because trauma is different for every individual. Every single person processes trauma differently. Now, that doesn't mean that it's not all the same. So the one sibling that, maybe felt unaffected, maybe their glass ball fell and it really just cracked in half, or maybe it broke into 3 pieces or 4 pieces. And so to clean up a glass ball that broke into 3 or 4 pieces is relatively easy, right? You just kind of pick it up and you get rid of it. When you have a glass ball that shatters into hundreds of pieces, then you could still be picking up glass that fell behind the fridge years later and you didn't even know it was there. And so what happens is these pieces get stored all over the place. They can get stored in your tissues. They get stored in different aspects of the brain. They get stored in different aspects of the body. And so when you have a trauma, and they don't necessarily have to be big traumas, but when you have a trauma, your psyche, your subconscious takes it and it breaks it, and it stores the memory of that trauma in a different place. It stores the sensation, like the physical sensation, in a different place. The smell, the sight, the touch, the hearing, all of your 5 senses, it takes that trauma and it stores it in different aspects of the body. And it does this as a protection mechanism. It does this to protect you from the trauma. And this is why you can be walking down the supermarket aisle and all of a sudden you smell Tide, for example, and you get triggered. So you smell the Tide and all of a sudden you get tense in the shoulders, your throat starts to feel like you can't speak, and you don't even know why you're triggered in that moment because the memory is not being brought up. It's literally the smell and then the different aspects of your body remember, and so it starts reacting. And this is why it's so hard for people to actually heal the trauma. Right? There's a lot of people that think that, oh, you just got to let it go. Stop thinking about it. Stop reliving it. Stop, going down that rabbit hole. And it's not that simple. It's not like you don't have to relive a trauma to deal with a trauma, right? The difference between reliving a trauma is that you get triggered and you instantly go back to that trauma and you literally relive it. And you're completely in it and you don't even know how you got in there half the time. There's a difference between reliving something and having it completely out of your control and then acknowledging and accepting it and looking for the particles that have been trapped in your body and trapped in different areas of your psyche and your subconscious. That's totally different type of healing than just say letting it go, right? That's like telling somebody to just get over it, right? You don't get over it, but you do learn how to accept it, acknowledge it, and to process the triggers and to move the particles out of your body. Now, why is it so hard? Why is this process so hard for people to do? Well, the first thing is because you don't trust you. That is the main part. You don't have your back. You don't set healthy boundaries. You let people walk all over you. You're probably a people pleaser. You might have codependency. You might have abandonment, right? Like most people that have traumas and have healing work to do, they have also created self-limiting beliefs that are attached to all these different particles. And so one of these particles might be, I'm not good enough. Another one of these particles might be, well, why do these things always happen to me? Another particle might be, well, if this person would just, tell me they're sorry, I would get better. You can insert any type of self-limiting belief here. Most of our self-limiting beliefs are attached to particles that have been broken within our subconscious, within our psyche. So you have to first develop a relationship with you. You have to first have your own back because your subconscious, your psyche doesn't trust you. It doesn't want to actually give you the information that you need because you've never had your back. How many times have you said, yes, you'll do something when you really didn't want to do it? You're not honoring yourself and you're not honoring your boundaries, right? A lot of people do stuff because they feel obligated to do stuff, even though they may not want to. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with this, but when you are this type of person, when you are a people pleaser, when you have codependency issues, when you have abandonment issues, when you have any of these serious things, your subconscious and your psyche does not trust you to have your best interest. And therefore, it doesn't actually release to you the information that you actually require to do the hard work. And so you first have to have your own back. You first have to develop a relationship with you where you're actually going to say no and actually follow through. When you're not going to put everybody's needs above your own. So that's the first step, right? And so that's why true healing is so hard, because most people get this idea that they're being selfish. They get this idea that, well, people aren't going to like me if I say no. And they just can't do it. And they don't do it, right? So that's kind of the first issue. Now, can you go see a healer? Sure, you can go see a healer, right? I offer lots of different healing modalities. And this is what I always tell people. If you're having a physical problem, if you're having, pains in your knees, pains in your back, you're suffering from headaches, most of these symptoms are either one, you've been too hard on your physical body, right? Obviously, right? Depending on what type of career choices and what you've done in life. Sometimes they are very physical, but oftentimes they are directly related to the shattered traumas that have happened in your life. They are directly related to emotional and mental problems that you need to deal with. Now, can a healer help you with these things? Sure, they can. They can help you with the symptoms, right? But unless you deep dive into your subconscious and deep dive into your psyche and work on you, you're not going to be able to actually heal these things because it's your subconscious, right? People can walk with you. People can give you techniques. People can give you a roadmap or a framework or a method to work with. But at the end of the day, in order for you to heal you, it is a journey that you have to take for yourself. And it is a journey that only you can take. Nobody can do the hard work for you. Nobody is going to wave a magic wand and heal you. I promise you that I have gone and to countless therapists, counselors, healers. I have an arsenal of certifications on a variety of different healing modalities. And until I honestly deep dove into my subconscious, into my psyche, and developed a relationship with me where I would have my own back, where I set my own boundaries, where I did the hard work, nobody else could do it for me. I promise you that if you go to a healer and they heal you, it's temporary. Because if the problem is on an emotional, mental, traumatic level, only you can actually heal it. Because only you know the memory, only you know the energetic components, only you know what triggers you, right? I don't know what triggers you, right? I can talk to your higher self. I can have a conversation with your higher self. They can communicate with me and tell me, kind of what's going on. But at the end of the day, you're the one that has to actually do the hard work and deep dive in there, right? So you first have to build a relationship with you. And that would be the number one thing that I would tell people. That is the number one thing that I tell people. Until you can have a relationship with you where you honestly can say that you trust you, then going to see a healer is not going to work. It's going to be a temporary fix because they're going to temporarily fix your knee, or they're going to temporarily fix your hip, or they're going to temporarily fix your lower back, or they're going to temporarily resolve the headaches that you're having. But the subconscious mind is just going to move it somewhere else until you actually deal with it. This is the way the subconscious works. You're healing the symptom, not the problem. And healers trigger the healing in you, but only you can get into your subconscious and only you can get into your psyche. And so I just wanted to do this video because there's so much misconception out there as to what is healing and what does it actually entail. And why do people say it's not for the faint of heart? It's relatively simple. You just let it go. Letting it go is basically just repressing it, right? That's what people do. When people say just let it go or get over it, they're basically telling you to repress it and not look at it and not actually deal with the pieces and the particles that are all over the place. And eventually you have to deal with these things because the more it sticks around on an energetic level, eventually it affects the physical, right? Everything happens on an energetic level first, right? So when we have an emotional eruption, it's on the energetic side first, and then it comes through, and then our physical body can't hold it anymore and we explode, right? But it happens on an emotional level first, which is on the emotional realm, right? The same thing with the mental realm, right? So you have your physical body, which is like your meat suit, and you have your spiritual body, and then you have all these other bodies in the middle, right? And everything happens in those areas. When it becomes energy congestion, it affects the physical, right? And so when you're going to see a healer, it's because on the energetic level, it has become physical. And so now you're dealing with it because it's on a physical level. But if you dealt with it when it was on an energetic level, then it would be easier for you to deal with, and you wouldn't get the physical symptoms. And therefore, you would be able to actually live a healthier lifestyle. You'd be more encompassing of well-being, right? Well-being is mind, body, soul, right? And that means that you have to work on the mind, the body, and the soul. And that's what true healing is. True healing is deep diving and dealing with all these things that have happened to us. It's not repressing it. It's saying, I'm going to acknowledge it. I'm going to accept it. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to deal with where it is stored. And I am going to become my safe space. I am going to become the person that I trust the most. That's what it's about. And so, as always, if you have questions, if you want to have a discussion, if you want clarity, then I encourage you to reach out. And otherwise, I hope you are having the very, very best of days and you have a fabulous week.